Game 2 now starts for NaVi and Team Secret. NaVi actually taking the first game in this best of 3 series so far. Our series haven't gone exactly as I think many would have predicted. Liquid ends up going to a game 3. NaVi taking the first game in this matchup against Team Secret. When I think I could say with confidence, right? Team Secret is definitely the favored team here, Guns.
Yeah, based on, they finished top 2 of their Starlight qualifier over NaVi, and seem to have been the more well-rounded team. Their roster's been together longer, so I think just that alone with the better results means Secret came in as favorites.
We'll see whether or not NaVi can do what NiP failed to do and actually complete this upset in this best of 3 series. Our draft already underway with a first pick Slardar, Rubik, Weaver going the way of NaVi.
Yep. Very different opening from NaVi, at least. I guess Secret with the slider leave things pretty. I guess standard opening, not hero they had in game 1, but leave things pretty open. The Shadow Demon ignored so far. There isn't the Luna to go with it, but still, of course, always a very good support hero to have. Although maybe not so great against like the Rubik or the Weaver. Weaver's a pretty good hero to get on top of Shadow Demon. You don't really care about getting disrupted so much as Weaver, and Rubik also you can always steal the disruption. So maybe not so appealing to pick the hero, but it is always a pretty stable, good support.
I like Weaver quite a bit. The more I see it in 1-2 pickups, just because of the versatility. NiP showed that the offlane Weaver is still just as viable as it used to be. We see obviously the carry Weavers as well as the support Weaver, and I think in some ways it limits what the enemy team can pick up here in this example, right? Lifestealer or Slardar. That's a combination that is less likely to be seen when there's a Weaver on the enemy side, because you don't know if it's actually a core Weaver or not, and if it's core, then it matches up really well against that duo. So Team Secret gonna go for the second pick, Disruptor. Nice controlling hero versus Weaver, whether it's support or not. They will have a support to counter it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's nice in the core role because you can run it safe lane, off lane, you can do it in aggro lanes. Even very rarely, you maybe see it in the mid lane, not quite as potent there, but is very, very flexible as far as the hero is concerned. That's where you don't want to invest too heavily into countering the heroes when NaVi can just put it in that 4 position role if they want to.
Going into our 3-4 bans, anything that you're scared of for the side of Team Secret when they already have a Slardar? We talked about the Lifestealer. Is anything else?
Shadow Fiend's a big pick for them. Mid one's been really consistently high performing in the hero. I think also at the moment it's one of the better 3-4 mid hero picks when you've got these kind of armor drafts. It's just like a nice tanky front line. We saw a couple games with Miracle playing it where he had good success in the one off game as well in game 2, but I think that's probably where Secret's looking for their mid lane. Other than that, for NaVi, the Pudge is a common support pick. There's the SF ban. I guess the OD is the other hero that both teams play quite a bit in the mid lane as a potential pick, although it doesn't pair as well with the physical damage kind of oriented drafts we're seeing with the Weaver Swarm and the Slardar Amp. But I think that's fine, especially for NaVi. Swarm can be nice. It secures you Roshan. OD still plays pretty nicely around their draft, gives you a save as well.
One hero that's currently missing from the pool right now is the Darkseer, and he's been pretty high up there in contestant, usually a 3-4 ban through most of our series, but here it's not going to be banned away. NaVi have a chance to pick it up. Secret could also use it if they want to run the Slardar support.
Yeah, that looks like a pretty high value pick here as far as something that both teams are going to look to want to snag up potentially, unless NaVi has something else in mind for their offlane. But with the Slardar, which has mostly been, I feel like Slardar more and more we're seeing it as predominantly a support hero, right? 4 position that is, rather than the offlane. The DACs are one of the best heroes to combo with it.
What do you think the Undying? Do you think they were afraid of an aggro chain lane from NaVi?
I want to say, I was looking at some of NaVi's drafts earlier today, and I think they did run Undying in a couple of games. Perhaps just, the aggro tri-lane, the lane pressure. Weaver, Rubik already very good at dominating the lanes, and that's something which Undying also brings to the table.
Mm-hmm.
As far as dual lanes go, they target 2 RMN heroes with the Undying and the Pudge. Na'Vi for now get the Sanking, which, I mean, normally my gut reaction to Sanking is more to think him as an offlaner, but could be that 4 position, not great in the 4 position, I feel, compared to the offlane, but it is flexible, I think. Again, that's a strength of Na'Vi with some of these picks like the Weaver, same thing. Like you don't necessarily know for sure where that hero is going to go.
Yeah, I think the 4 position Sanking is usually dependent on what 5 position you have, and I think Shadow Demon and Rubik are 2 supports that allow a potential Sanking 4 position. So I think you're right. It is something that Secret do have to keep in mind here. But for now, we're going to operate under the assumption of the off-lane Sanking and see if Na'Vi switch it up on us. Are we going to see that Darkseer go on the way of Team Secret, or is that just not enough control against a Weaver? How do you like that?
Sorry, which hero is that?
Darkseer, is that that pickup,
okay.
right, that we talked about earlier? Is it a viable pickup for a Secret going against a Weaver?
I think it's still okay. Just you can make up for that elsewhere.
Sure.
But
Okay.
it looks like they're going to run the Slaughter as an offlaner. They pick up Earth Spirit. So there's some more guaranteed control.
Mhm.
They've got 3 heroes all very good against the Weaver now, with the Slaughter, Disruptor, and the Earth Spirit. And this is a hero I was kind of looking at, wondering if Na'Vi would even run. I don't think they've played much of the Earth Spirit for RMN. I think it would have been a good pick for them as well. It's one of probably the most successful 4 position heroes on the current patch, but you've also got to have a very good Earth Spirit play to justify the pick.
Yeah, I think they've played it once before, but I don't know how successful. It looks like they lost that game, so maybe they don't have a very successful Earth Spirit player.
Yeah.
Not comfortable enough on it. Templar Assassin going to be the 4th pickup now for Na'Vi. Some extra minus armor and physical damage. Some easy Roche taking potential for Na'Vi for sure. Team Secret, though, have all bundled up on Team Fight, and that might not stop Na'Vi. They may have the physical damage and the opportunities to be able to... Ooh, okay, that's a silencer core now, I guess. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think... Does that hero do well against the TA? You can use the curse against the refraction, but it doesn't strike me as an amazing TA counter, so perhaps more likely the safe lane hero for Team Secret.
Yeah, I think so.
Very interesting pickup here. Does mean they can follow up that Slaughter initiation with like an instant global, so there's no kind of response available from Na'Vi. Na'Vi don't have good heroes to go into like items to dispel the global silence. Like there's no Greaves. You don't. I mean, Sanking can eventually get a Yule Scepter, but it's not really like an ideal item to get. And it's also not like an instant dispel. Like you use yourself while global silence. It's not like you can protect a teammate by stunning them. You're using yourself up in the air. So
right.
It's going to be a bit hard to fight into that global silence, and Na'Vi will have to use that cooldown to their advantage.
We still don't know if this Weaver is going to be supported or not, given the first 3 pickups and now a silencer as well. Do you want to change this Weaver into a support role and pick up a different core for Na'Vi?
I guess the question more is like, yeah, what would that core be in my mind? The more tempting Life Sealer, I guess, potentially could come in, but he's another hero that gets really crippled by a lot of these silences. So
I think
heroes that can get out of some of the silences.
PA mid for Team Secret, maybe. Does PA beat TA, or maybe we are going to see the Secret silencer mid?
I think PA, like, you don't win the lane necessarily. It's like one of those like where you slightly lose the lane, but your hero is still very good against TA come mid game, and we're going to see Earth Spirit, of course, probably be kind of influential in that mid lane as well. So I think Secret are thinking they can get away with a slightly disadvantageous mid lane if they have the Earth Spirit's influence. But last game we saw Dandy completely destroy MP. That CS differential between them, especially in the deny category, was very lopsided. So I imagine they go back to mid one playing that mid lane, and partly because of how ugly and one-sided that matchup was last game. But it is a tough matchup, whether it's PA or Silencer.
Because of all this silence and control, we probably want a BKB carry, right? So maybe Sven, Ursa, along those kind of lines. Is that what you're thinking?
I think BK Jug maybe you can get away with because of the Manta build against the silences. It doesn't get you out of some of the other stuff necessarily, like the Static Storm, but Venge carry, so very tanky, does eventually get a BKB this game, I imagine. Well, it could be a support, of course, as well. We're talking about carries to replace
True,
the
true.
Weaver, but I want to say it's probably Avenged Core. I think Pykat's played it a few of the Na'Vi games so far already, and I do feel like the Weaver gets pretty hard counted by 4 of these. I mean, really all 5 of these picks. Doesn't fight that well into the PA as well.
All right, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Na'Vi are holding off on picking their heroes until the
you used to be able to get to see
end.
the people as they pick their heroes in this waiting screen, but I think
you're right.
got rid of that, yeah.
All right, well, I'll have to wait with the rest of the scrubs. There it is, Pykat Vengeful Spirit, so you are on the money.
General offlane Weaver, actually. That's where we talked about it as a possibility, but we weren't really, I think, thinking that at the end of the draft.
That's true. So I do kind of like it though, because I feel like you still need to have some decent farm priority on Weaver to make this hero work in this matchup. In part because I think the BKB is going to be a necessity for the Weaver. And then on top of that, I'm not sure how well Weaver's support is going to be able to deal. For example, the Earth Spirit's going to have a lot more impact in the laning phase when it comes to that roaming potential. And then going into mid-game, there's a lot more teamfight power from Secret than this Weaver is going to be able to put comparatively to other supports. So I think you needed to be able to shift this Weaver into a position other than support, and offlane feels a little bit better.
And as a 4, yeah, the Sand King, I think, can kind of match the Earth Spirit a bit better when you're roaming around with the boots. You run into the Earth Spirit, you can look to actually trade blows a bit. If you have a teammate there, you get him with the Burrow Strike and you can cause problems, whereas a Weaver doesn't look too potent. There's not a good killing combo. Weaver TA, you've got no slows, no stuns. The roaming Weaver with the cores that you've got doesn't seem like it's going to necessarily have that big of an impact. So we'll see mid one playing the mid silencer.
Yeah, what are your bets? Are we going to see maxed out Curse or something, or do you think you're just going to see it a little bit more regularly played and just maybe a more farm game with Glaives?
So Baby Knight used to do a bit of this for the old Imperial days, when now Cloud9, where he would go max Glaives by level 7 with 1 point in the other 2 spells. I think the Arcane Curse is the other spell that's really good to max and does a lot of harass damage. It just doesn't give you as much mid-game damage output necessarily. General, trying to be sneaky and go for... I mean, you don't expect the offlaner to be courier sniping, but problem is mid-one is not bringing salves out.
Yeah, and RMN is actually going to...
He doesn't have refraction. He's actually dead.
Wait, what? Oh, a little bit more. Fairy Fire. It's not going to be enough damage on that right click, so he does have the healing salve. He will be good. The Weaver, unable to snipe the courier as it's not showing up. Top lane, Kazu is going to be pulled back here with a telekinesis, but they clearly do not have enough damage to actually get that kill. Puppey popping the mid laner Shrine here and is going to return to try and get a quick kill on Dendi once again, but the word is already in place to spot him out here.
That's... I don't know about using your mid lane as Shrine, but he's got a salve coming out to the mid lane at least, but never a fan of popping that Shrine, but it does allow Puppey to come back in. If there's no ward here, this is a play that can pay off, but there is that ward there. Dendi going to pop the Shrine of his own. He's probably... I mean, he sees Earth Spirit come back to lane with full HP. He probably realizes that Shrine was popped as well. So, mid one, we'll have to play without, but he's ideally going to just try not to get harassed too much, but with the Side Blades, that's something where Dendi can put good pressure onto mid one.
Puppey gonna throw out the roll here. Dendi tries to sidestep it, but doesn't actually hit it. And Puppey is gonna be able to slow down Dendi enough to be able to get that first blood. So the Arcane Curse eating through the refraction and the constant damage coming in from mid one does prove to be enough to bring down the mid laner of Na'Vi.
Yeah, combining the Orb of Venom helping out a lot there as well. This is a really dominant mid lane. And now they've got this small advantage. Mid one can just continue to spam that Arcane Curse's bottle, and the Clarity are coming out to give him some extra sustain, and Dendi is not having a fun time. He is far away from his own bottle.
So we've found another counter to the Templar Assassin mid in the form of this mid one Secret Silencer.
I feel like without the Earth Spirit, TA does just... or at least even
does
in this matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anything, TA I think can win this matchup. Straight up 1v1, but yeah, the Earth Spirit is where it turns this match. Now that Silencer has an edge, you do very well, but Thing is, Silencer's actually not farming all that well. The CS is pretty even between the two mid laners, so you're going for these kills and like losing some CS here and there. And when Dendi is going for CS, he is getting denies here and there. So you've got to keep up this aggression because Dendi will heavily outfarm a Silencer with the use of those ancients. Bottom lane,
Glimpse him back. Shukuchi's down. He's got 5 seconds till it's up. He tries to juke his way into the trees. Has a magic wand. 2 seconds. He'll be good. Or at least should be anyway. He's getting a little cheeky. Turn around on MP, daring him to try and make another dagger throw.
Like that play. Got a cheeky little Gemini attack off and to put damage you can. MP has plenty of regen though. So we'll see how things go. Another Sal pop by Dendi in the mid lane. This is slowing down that bottle as much as possible is really the name of the game right now because that's when you can start like picking up runes, jungling a bit more efficiently, having more access to constant refraction. Puppy tries to line up the boulder smash at mid, doesn't nail that one. Pretty hard to initiate with boulder smash nowadays. Yeah. Once upon a time you could do that as an Earth Spirit, but not anymore.
Kezu actually picks up the Iron Talon. I guess he's assuming he's not going to be receiving a whole lot of help from Earth Spirit, so this Rubik Vengeful Spirit lane appears to be dangerous enough that Kezu wants to jungle. So the next bit of action, presuming Kezu just stays AFK in jungle, is going to be bottom as well, where we've had this constant little battle between Weaver, the PA, and then Sandking matched up against the Disruptor. And with the higher levels in Burrow Strike, we might be able to see NaVi pick up a kill here, where their mid lane has been falling short.
One thing I wonder if Kezu does is with his boots, he could theoretically rotate on mid with the Earth Spirit, like smoke up with Earth Spirit Slider. Level 2 sprint, level 2 crush is plenty to kill a TA with. So I think that's like a surprise play you can do as a Slider. He has the money for his boots now. Doesn't have a smoke, which is maybe the one thing they're lacking. But even without a smoke, there's actually no vision on that north side of this mid lane.
The smoke comes in from NaVi. They're going to try and go for a Rubik Sandking rotation. Sandking does have that level 2 Burrow Strike, so not quite as limited in range as it used to be. They were hoping to be able to catch mid one, but they see Puppy is kind of blocking their way. This ward is going to wear out. Puppy spots it, realizes that's been causing him a lot of issues in lane. The smoke pops on the side of NaVi as well, but they haven't been scouted just yet. They're going to throw another ward here. They spot Puppy, not going to go for it. Now the kick comes out, the roll misses, and Viber will be able to get some distance. Telekinesis, throw back into Pylai Die. They need to be able to stay ahead of this glimpse. Pylai Die is not going to be able to get him as it's only level 1 glimpse. Iron Man comes back, goes for the kill on mid 1, trades away his life to make sure that happens. General's going to be able to pick up a lot. It looks like Pylai Die may also go down with Dendi now coming in. MP, he's going to join the fight as well with the dagger in. Puppy's trying to make his jukes around, but Dendi finds his old friend. Going to get Pylai Die as well with the help of General. They turn now together to fight up against MP, but Kezu has made a surprise entrance. Dendi's out of mana. No more refraction charges for him, so they turn and fight against MP as best they can, but as fight they cannot win. General is forced away, the only surviving member of NaVi in that engagement.
It feels like it wasn't a total disaster for NaVi. They killed the Silencer. They trade, what, 2 supports? Both teams lose their mid laner and 2 supports, and I mean, it was, what, 5 secret heroes committing to that while NaVi had the Venge staying top lane. So I think it's a, if anything, it's a slight NaVi win. Keeping the Venge farming. And also just Dendi gets his bottle. Like, he spends his money before he dies. So Dendi doesn't really lose too much there. He gets back to mid lane. He's level 6 now. It gives him some, it actually helps him recover. Despite him dying at the end, I would call that recovery for him. And now he's got a kill on Silencer.
Yeah, mid
has
one.
The traps.
He's donezo.
General's been very good with his like early game pressure. He rotates mid. He came before that fight even started to help make sure things went all right for them. Now he comes mid again. General's being very active.
All right, man, realizes a little bit too late. He sandstorms underneath the sentry and will be giving the kill to MP. Kezu's in some trouble. He's going to be telekinesis pulled back, but uh-oh, Biver, what did you do? He was actually taking all the tower shots that whole entire time, so he is going to go down here. Kezu survives. They get a good pullback on PyCap, but they're not healthy enough to threaten that hero.
Well, this is going to perhaps stabilize things a bit for Kezu now. He's level 6. Back to the jungle he goes. When you get what farm he can. Pycat's gone for an aggressive swap though at top. He wants the solo kill. I think he may pay for this with his life if he's not careful though.
Oh, Pycat, you crazy. He gets the kill on support, but oh no, the misroll by Puppey. Now the counter from RMN as they get the burrow strike. Mid one gets the silence on a Pycat, but it doesn't do anything as Pycat's just ready to full right click down the Earth Spirit and will survive through all of that. So Pycat, not so crazy it seems.
Yeah, he's got 1100 HP with this build of his. It's ridiculous how tanky Venge actually can be as a core, and this is a big reason why this hero is played in that safe lane core role. You're so stat heavy, and you just become this great frontliner. And against this lineup with all the silencers, they don't necessarily have a ridiculous amount of damage output, but the silencers can be very problematic. Having a tanky Venge in the front can be very beneficial to you.
Dendy still needs a bit of recovery time. He's sitting at 25 and 12 in CS. That results in about a 2,400 net worth. But of course, we said he should be able to get some pretty decent recovery time, right? Vengeful Spirit can get quite active, and Dendy can start playing off those neutrals pretty well, especially if they can get another kill on a mid one, swap back into the burrow strike. Beautiful combination of stuns, well coordinated by NaVi to get yet another kill on that mid laner. Maybe one more. Trap. Pycat trying to get in range of the missile, but he gets sent back first. Still, though, looks like General might be able to get this. Silence on a General prevents him from Shukuchiing forward and won't be able to kill that support, but the mid lane tower is taking a lot of damage and might just go down.
2 points in Vengeance, so I don't think this can be defended. They put the Blightstone, so it should be a free early T1 tower. Those secret, they're keeping in numbers here, and the trap will scout out one of those, so they decide to take the cautious approach. They don't want to give up any lives to take that mid tower. They can come back for it later. Great aggression, and this is my experience with mid silencer games, like be it watching it in pro games. Hold that thought. Kezu at top is going to get gone on now.
Wait, RMN backs away. They see the mass TPs, especially MP. And that is a hero that nobody wants to be near right now. And poor Piver, he's going to get a up close and personal touch. The amplified damage actually wears out here, and they are going to be able to get another dagger. And there it is, the pullback. And he knows he's done for. MP is going to have a pretty fast Desolator at this rate.
Yeah, that's going to be... With the amp damage, this PA can have a fantastic time and needs to, because, yeah, the Silencer, I feel like, is one of those heroes that does really well the first 4 or 5 minutes, but once rotations start happening around the map, Silencer really struggles and dies very easily, as we're seeing.
Coming in with some extra forces, Pycat will TP in. The help of the Ogre Frostmage, this actually makes a very big difference, giving everyone that 8 armor bonus against the physical damage of PA.
Yeah, nice neutral to have. Would you rather have the Ogre or the Satyr, though, is the question, I guess.
I think the Ogre for being able to spread that damage around, but there's probably clutch scenarios, right, with that amplified damage, say on Weaver, where you desperately would want that purge at the right time.
Yeah, getting rid of the amp and also slowing enemies can be nice, but top lane...
Kezu's being bait. Yeah, he's baiting out this whole entire situation for Secret. Secret are still here in force. Navi didn't expect it. They're going to lose Pycat for it. Unless Pycat... Nah, MP's got him. He's going to be able to jump to him. Gets a magic missile. Glimpse back. Pycat turns, kills Puppey at least, but now Dendy's here with a haste rune. What a haste to pick up. He joins in. They trade 1 for 4. Make it 1 for 5. Because mid one, you might as well be a support at this point. He's dropped down so far, and net worth has not progressed at all because of the constant Navi rotations on his ass.
This kind of way I'm at. When I first saw the sounds pick, I felt like it needs to be in the safe lane because this hero gets rotated on so easily. It needs you need to get, and he's going for a fast Midas, which I think you've got to almost rush the 4 stuff on this hero because of how important mobility is, so that you just don't instantly die in these fights. Going for this Midas to me just means he's going to keep on dying more and more in these clashes. But
silence, they need a crit here. RMN, there it is. Just before the silence fades and the burst strike was up, he gets the crit necessary for a pickoff.
And they've stolen the Corrosive Haze. This is the easiest rush of their life. Beetles, Corrosive Haze, Venge. They've got every minus armor in the book. Minus 23 armor I saw for a second there. Then the Beetle died.
My mind trying to work that one. I was like, how the hell did they have Weaver, Vengeful Spirit, TA, and Slardar all in one team? Wow. Good stolen Corrosive Haze from Biver does quite good work against Roshan. 9-12, 12 minutes in, 4,000 gold lead, 2,000 experience lead for the Navi boys.
Concern for Secret is going to turn into like PA versus the world. Like PA is going to have to solo kill, like do all the damage in a team fight during a global silence and around the like his teammates offer good control. There's a Slaughter Crush, there's the Earth Spirit with the Boulder Smash, the silences, the kinetic field is there with the Static Storm, but the damage output is going to come almost entirely from MP. And until he gets the BKB with the Deso, he's very fragile. There's good magic burst damage coming from the Magic Missile, the Burrow Strike. I mean, you're throwing even like the Fade Bolt and all that. The Swarm damage kind of can add up as well. He's going to have to play very cautiously and choose his time well when he enters the fight.
It's looking like Navi, both in this game as well as just a team in general, are building up steam. This is they put on a really good performance game 1, and it seems like game 2 is an even cleaner performance, excluding Dendi's death here. It looks like he's going to be caught out by the rotation from Secret here in the top lane. The rest of Navi were taking bottom.
Yeah, Dendi quite a bit alone there with good presence on the top side of the map. Secret are going to look to trade this bottom lane for top. It will be a tier 2 tower potentially, though, if Navi press forward, which it looks like they are angling to do, both General and Pycat rejoining this push effort, and RMN's already kind of like looped in behind the tower. He's like, all right, if Secret show top, we're taking this tower. No one's going to be able to defend this one, and it does look like that's going to be the case. Even with a 5v4 advantage, Secret do not feel like they've got a really good tactical position to fight at bottom lane.
So that's going to grow Navi's net worth lead even more. It'll also ensure a completed Lincoln's pretty soon here for General. That's a very big pickup very early on to the game for this offlaner. When the safe laner is currently operating on... it looks like he's going to be picking up Manta next to help deal with the silence. Makes sense. We talked about how from this safe lane core, we want a BKB or Manta hero, and we could potentially see both here from Pycat.
Yeah. More damage output, I guess, from the Manta. You maybe thinking like he wants to save the BKB for later, still have the 10 seconds. But I think this is one of those games where Weaver can go full defensive with his item build if he wants. Like General can go even like BKB after the Lincoln Sphere, and Navi do not lack damage output. Like between the TA, who's going to have a Desolator, I mean, there's going to be a Sand King at some point with a Blink Epicenter. There's Avenge as a core who's very farm right now, top of the net worth. Weaver is not like there's no, unlike I feel like where Arrow went wrong, where he went too defensive with his items when he needed to do damage. This game doesn't matter so much for General.
Yeah, I'm inclined to be with you on that one. 2 minutes until the Aegis is reclaimed. Secret may want to halt their aggression until that is gone. But it does seem like Secret need to start being on the aggressive sometime soon. Maybe they have to wait for the Aegis, but they certainly cannot let Silencer, especially since his ultimate Global Silence is so dependent on getting the initiation first. It's not a very good reactive spell a lot of the times. So if they can actually be the ones smoking out and setting the pace for this game, they'll have a lot better chance against Navi's lineup.
Smoking into the Aegis, not necessarily, I think it's actually kind of a good idea because it could catch them by surprise and you're smoking towards a lot of your vision. So it's a good place to take a fight. Problem is, Navi have the same idea. They head south while Secret head to the north side of the map, and MP does not want to get caught out here. He is going to tuck himself back near his tower. And I imagine Navi will ideally look to get down some deep wards here. They've only got the one on the Rubik. All MPs walked into them. That's
MP, there goes the Global Silence, so it stops the Epicenter. That's going to be pretty decent. Biver's going to be the first target here as Puppey rolls in with a big-time combination, doing a lot of damage to Dendi. Static Storm laid out by Pylai as well. Navi, they're dropping like flies now as the physical damage is not enough to finish up any one of these heroes. Armin comes in with the 2-man Burrow Strike, and maybe I lied. Pycat does manage to pick up one, looking for a second one now as MP jumps back in. RMN with the amplified damage. MP, he wants a bigger kill, though. He looks towards General, starts running over there, thinking about it. Pycat stunned up a little bit. Pylai will finally drop to General. He's dropping lower and lower, though, with his Arcane Curse. Mid-Wan's actually going to be able to pick up that kill as MP jumps in to finish off Pycat. Navi lose the fight dramatically against Secret. All three cores staying alive and finishing off Navi.
Whoa, that's some turnaround there. They managed to just get back in time to group up and fight around the PA, and that Global Silence came at the perfect time as well. If there was like one more follow-up stun, like if they'd managed to just get off like a magic missile onto the PA, they probably would have been able to kill off MP during that stun duration, and that fight wouldn't have gone as badly. But just being able to global before that follow-up stun came from NaVi meant the world of difference. And Secret feeling boosted up after that fight. Want to go again. They need to be careful because this is now without the Global Silence, and if NaVi can get numbers in this area, I think NaVi will have a good way to take a fight here, even without the Sand King Blink.
They knew too. It's like you don't always have to throw down a counter ward when you're smoking, but against Templar Assassin, I think you do. They got spotted out by a trap. NaVi are in a position trying to take the high ground. They're actually going to push out now. Pycat is going to be immediately blown up here with underneath the Static Storm. They're going to glimpse back Dendi, and that I'm not sure what kind of movement they thought Secret was taking there.
Yeah, I mean, Secret were very patient, just sitting on that little ramp on the south side of the river, waiting their time for someone to show, and eventually Pycat does, and he gets taken out as a result of it. And it is, I mean, for a while it felt like they were fine without the Blink Dagger, but I think now we're at that point where Secret are starting to win these fights because they've got the cleaner initiation. That Slider Blink Crush is proven to be like the better way to start a fight, whereas for NaVi, they, until they get a Blink Dagger on Sand King, aren't able to be the ones jumping and initiating. And against the Silencer team, you want to be in that position.
Pylai pushes forward, sees if he can find anybody for a glimpse target. No such luck, though. Tier 1 tower will go uncontested. Team Secret. What are they going to do from here? They push out aggressively like we thought they needed to do, but they did that once. Do you think they continue to keep hitting against NaVi, try and keep them on the back foot?
I mean, ideally, you want to set yourself up to be able to at least keep vision around that Roche pit with the Roche respawn coming in the next 3 to 4 minutes or so. I think I don't imagine they have too many smokes left at this point. They've kind of chewed through them over the last 5 minutes of the game, but they're kind of at that point where I think they want to fall back and play a slower pace now. They're going to go for a... Actually, looks like an Armadon style. I was wondering if Kezu was going to go for the Midas, but it seems like he's got a different idea. But they've got the Midas on the Silencer. The PA BKB is where they get really strong, though. That's where MP doesn't have to worry about the lockdown and control from the Sand King Rubik Venge, and his game gets a whole lot easier.
Yeah, they are very close to some of those big ticket items, and then maybe they can resume the aggression from there. And the Global Silence is still going to be rather effective versus NaVi for the time being with support Sand King. We talked about how, like, with the offlane Sand King, you'll have to get Yule Scepter eventually, but support Sand King doesn't even have that opportunity. The Manta is a little bit delayed here for Pycat as he's gone down in so many engagements, and General is just operating on a Lincoln Sphere for now. So they still have big mid-game strength around this this global ability from mid-1.
And the Manta isn't necessarily going to help you if you get caught or jumped on by the Slider. Like that Blink Crush into Static Storm that we've seen a couple fights in a row is going to completely destroy you. That's why you'd rather have the BKB. So NaVi are going to have to approach these fights very differently, even when they've got some of these items.
Initiation is a must. RMN trying to neutral his way to that last 250 gold that's needed for the Blink Dagger. But meanwhile, BKB, the first of many items for Secret.
Yeah, I think the game looks very different for NaVi with their Blink Daggers. Or like having a TA and Sand King with a Blink could be an instantly dead Disruptor, Earth Spirit, even someone like a Silencer could just get Blink stunned by a Sand King, Blink Meld Strike, and is just instantly deleted. So NaVi's approach to fights is made a lot easier through these Blink Daggers, and I think that's where those last couple of plays by Secret were really well timed because they took advantage of NaVi not having those gap closes.
Secret, what's their vision like? They don't have a whole lot of aggressive vision. They don't see too many heroes, so I think they're kind of grouped up, maybe anticipating some sort of smoke rotation or something about now. Taking them out of high ground and just seeing what is going to be happening. But NaVi are spending more time farming right now. They've got the Blink finished up on both Dendi as well as RMN, so quick, fast initiations can still win them the fights against this BKB and Global Silence.
I think this Secret position is just like, we have no smokes, let's just camp this high ground position and wait and see what happens. Like, they don't want to... If they show too many heroes bottom, they risk getting jumped on and initiated around the road. Even, it's not that their opponents are going to necessarily take Roche, but someone could get jumped. Even with the Shrine there to TP to, that if someone gets jumped, they instantly get deleted. That's the nature of these Blink Daggers on NaVi. So Secret want to make sure they have everyone there as 5 to start the fight off. And that's why they're just going to defend bottom with some illusions, which is a nice little room pickup. Silencer is not with the rest of the team at the moment, and NaVi, Biva...
Jesus. Secret are not expecting any of these NaVi members here. That was awkward as hell.
Yeah, I think they see Biver and they probably think, okay, there's 4 or 5 heroes with him, but he was like almost entirely alone with the exception of RMN, slightly to the north, but I don't think Iron Man would have blinked stun to save the Rubik there.
Yeah, I don't think so either. They do have very good vision on the Na'Vi side around this top half of the map now. It's nice aggressive ward that's just laid out.
Very good for keeping vision on the Na'Vi side. Like even with the sentry there, there's still a trap in the Roche pit. You can just constantly recast that.
They have the ward in place to be able to get that. The glimpse in, Static Storm. They're going to commit everything they have to bring down this carry. They know how important he is for sustained damage in these team fights.
Yep. It's either a Roche or a buyback, and I don't think Na'Vi necessarily want to commit their Venge buyback considering how much Pycat's farm has already fallen off. I think this is where you say, let's angle more towards the late game. Dendi's actually going to be pressuring the bottom lane. I like this play, but it's such a fast Roche that Secret can quickly come back to defend.
Yeah, it looks like minimal damage was done on the objectives on the Na'Vi side. They get a little bit of damage on that tier 2 top, nothing on the tier 3 at bottom. They are going to try and go for a quick kill on Puppey here. A small pick off. They could do a lot, but Na'Vi can't actually finish him up. He's significantly tanky with that value buckler. What a Puppey specialty that is.
Yeah, I mean, he gets so tanky like, on some of his supports. I mean, he plays a bit greedy and gets more farm than most. And he's like, Vit Booster, Buckler, Raindrop, and Urn. And like all 6 of these items give him like some decent survivability.
Yeah, looking for the Crimson Guard maybe later on. That'll be a nice damage block scenario against the Weaver and those bugs.
Yeah, all the Na'Vi damage output is really going to be physical damage this game. The Sand King is not really looking like a big threat as far as damage output goes. He will have a level 2 epicenter soon, but the 3 cores are entirely physical. This is a great game for a Crimson Guard, and Puppey's not really that far away from it. A couple of towers or one team fight, and he's going to have pretty much enough money to complete it.
Continuing the split push objectives, Na'Vi sticking away from NP and the rest of Secret as they push down the tier 2 tower. We'll see as Secret, as they TP to one side lane or the other, if there's any opportunities for Na'Vi to find a quick pick on somebody.
Yep. Well, Na'Vi kind of posturing around this top lane with Iron Man. Will be another Earth Spirit TP. Will Iron Man get him this time? I don't think they're ever going to try.
Man. Yeah, I think they learned their lesson from last time. This guy's too tanky and they're too quick with the TPs. We can't get him. Dendi does manage to spawn out. A couple of these heroes rotating over thanks to the traps. Dendi's just pushing for efficiency's sake to maximize his farm underneath the nose of Secret, but he does finally force himself to TP back. Bought a little space for General to farm in top lane, and that's about it.
Iron Man blinks out, pushes the lane with a Sandstorm. This is kind of the split push time for Na'Vi. They're like, all right, they've got Aegis. They're just 5-manning down all our towers. We can't defend bottom lane. We can't defend either of these towers, most likely. Let's try and pull them back to defend this top lane. So Iron Man pushes out one way. Puppey kind of comes back. It's this kind of tug of war between Puppey and Iron Man as far as this top lane creep equilibrium goes. But Puppey, he just feels confident that his team can push without him. There's also a shrine close enough to this bottom lane that should it look like a big fight's about to break out, he can still at least TP and get there like partway through the fight. And you know your team with an Aegis and a BKB-PA are not going to lose the fight in the first like 5-10 seconds.
Oh, it looks like Na'Vi kind of want to force this real quickly. They rotated, but then Puppey went off map. He backed away from that, defending that tier 2 tower.
BKB, that's why.
Okay, this is definitely going to be a big pickup. Kezu looks for the initiation. Dendi's already picked up the one. Disruptor's down. MP's going to be up next. They managed to get the stun on him. There goes that Aegis. Kezu caught by the bugs. He's not going to be able to reinitiate with that. Now he's immediately peppered away by Dendi. BKB activated by MP, and they blow up Dendi before a refraction can come back in. A global silence activated. Pycat's now fighting into Puppey. Gets the swap out. Turns and fights a little bit more. The epicenter's here, but the BKB still activated by MP. Dodges most of that damage, and they'll clean up Na'Vi members 1, 2, and maybe a 4th in RMN. Yeah, he's not making it out. Spotted out. Secret managed to lock him down, and what started off with Na'Vi on that BKB on Dendi, I personally thought they were going to wait for the BKB on Pycat before they tried to get into a big engagement, but
they felt they spotted an opportunity. I think that was very, very ballsy play from Na'Vi, but they instantly take out the Disruptor, so there's no Disruptor ultimate to worry about. They know Puppey's not in the fight, so they turn it into what's effectively, at least temporarily, a 5v3 fight. So they feel like all right, it's worth taking a 5v3 fight where we pop the BKB early, and they break the Aegis too. Like, they killed MP's first life without losing too much. Problem was, they couldn't get Kezu in the trees. That armlet made him just too tanky. He was even able to armlet toggle after he got low and the Weaver was trying to chase him down. And if Kezu had gone for like any different item build, I think they kill Kezu and that fight goes very differently. Yeah. But really good play from Kezu to stay alive, as well as MP's second life. He also got the amp damage on the Dendi post BKB, which meant that Dendi melted to the PA's second life.
He was looking to be able to pick up the MKB to try and counter that PA's natural evasion, but that's going to be a long time coming unless NaVi can still make a fight happen. Static Storm immediately laid down his RMN, tries to go for the initiation. Countered up NaVi with that ultimate on cooldown, still kind of hanging around thinking maybe they can fight. General's going to be stunned up. If they can get the crit, they've got him! Corrosive Haze, and immediately gets the crit to follow that one up, eliminating General, and now all bets are off. NaVi, there's no way they can win an engagement going back in. Pycat's going to be the extra cleanup with the glimpse back, and Secret take another 4 against NaVi.
Right. That is the beauty of Disruptor. Like, what's a bad pickoff turns into like a bad quote-unquote team fight. Like, what should just be 1 kill from a good defensive play from Secret turns into 4 all of a sudden. I mean, the bottom lane was NaVi on the aggressive. That was like NaVi going for a pickoff, and you think normally like a pickoff backfiring is normally like that one hero who goes in, ends up dying, and the rest of the team just get out. But no, there's no escaping there against the Disruptor, and Secret are in a spot to break through a lane of racks here. They are pretty short respawn timers, and there is still global silence over Secret, and that's where they're like, well, they're respawning, but we've got global silence.
Here comes the epicenter. They're going to try and blow up MP with all this magic damage. The global silence goes down. It's not... oh, it is enough. MP actually managed to get the blink away. Evades all the shots from the tower as well. NaVi hold their tier 3, but they wanted so much more of that. That's why Pycat comes in. Oh, he meant to dodge the stun, but it may not be enough. A good Burrow Strike comes in. Pycat fighting up against MP, but he can't win that engagement. Dendi will finish him off, gets a little bit of vengeance for his ally, but they need to be able to catch so much more. The TP in, Pylai Die going to be caught. Static Storm, 10 at a TP away. Won't manage to make it out alive. A 1 for 3, thanks in part to Pycat's ballsy-ass Shrine TP. They're going to be able to find a 4th one, it looks like. Puppey gets a kick out, roll away, but RMN can blink in. Slowed down by the trap, and that is going to be a gem going the way of NaVi. What a nasty turn of events after it's been secret, back-to-back. NaVi finally show a little bit of strength in them.
I think you said it best earlier, where talking about the silencer ultimate, you want to use it when you're the ones initiating, and that's like the first time where NaVi get a really good initiation onto the PA. Like in the past, we saw like there being a lift or a single stun, and then there'd be a global silence, and the PA doesn't take too much damage. This time it was a full epicenter Burrow Strike, and by the time the global silence comes out, but PA is already on 200-300 HP. Ideally, they want to kill the PA there, but they're allowed to chase after the PA because she can't fight. She's on 200-300 HP. She ends up deciding, well, I can't run either, so I'm going to do my best, take a hero with me, but Dendi cleans her up. So being able to initiate onto the PA with the epicenter seems like the approach for NaVi to win a team fight. Like, they have to get PA down to like below half HP before the BKB is popped, because that means PA can't then reliably fight. There's a good chance that Dendi will be able to get off enough right clicks that they can get the kill. And once there's an MKB, that PA is going to really struggle if she gets initiated on by the Sand King.
I think another thing that this says is that the backup carry, Mid-1, who's been making some pretty decent progression in net worth after having a rough-ass start. I was going to say, look, with his Shivas, all of a sudden he actually becomes a threat, but he still got blown up in that team fight despite the heavy armor upgrade that he has.
Yeah, I remember clicked him before the fight. I'm like, oh, he's pretty tanky. He's got some good items. He's recovered, but in the actual team fight itself, I felt like, yeah, I didn't see him. He didn't really have much of an impact. And something NaVi are getting these lanes pushed back out. They're getting items across their cores. Dendi's close to finishing his MKB. Pycat with a BKB could be a game changer in itself. Diffusal on the Weaver. Yeah, I'm curious to see what this picks about. I guess you can use it to kind of look to kite around and also get the global silence off of a teammate, but not yourself. Mm-hmm. But yeah, interesting little pickup.
Successful scan from the Radiant side, as they are going to make their way over there with the smoke, it looks like. They run into the Roshan pit, find a Wild Wing Ripper. I'm not sure if Kezu accidentally clicked on that one, but they do chase away that Wildwing Ripper, and NaVi will not have as much information about Roche.
Worth killing those traps, I think, instantly anyway, so not too big a deal, but I got to imagine there's not anything, like there's probably no smokes left for Secret now for this next Roshan.
Yeah.
Because NaVi still not having a BKB on Pycat means it will be hard for Pycat to enter that next fight. Dendy with an MKB, oh boy, if they can smoke and get on the PA, this could be huge. Don't think the Crimson Guard's going to protect against this amount of TA damage output.
Yeah, certainly not. RMN, you got to make sure you do not get caught before this whole entire engagement goes. Pylai die. He's so close with a glimpse. He's just out of range. Time lapse is going to be used by the Weaver.
That's a little bit fortunate for RMN. I don't think he needs to be making that play pushing out mid lane. They got to get in this Roche pit soon. They're going to scout it out again, and that gives them the intel that they need to go now.
They know that time lapse is on cooldown. I think they want to force that engagement during this time. They managed to get the Burrow Strike onto mid one, but the Static Storm, and they're actually going to go for it. They snatch up the Aegis onto mid one. He's going to fight this one out with MP against Pycat inside the pit. He's gone, and NaVi have aborted this whole entire fight. They're going to lose a couple more. That's going to be RMN going down. Maybe we'll see, hopefully not Dendy. Dendy can't get caught, that's for sure. It looks like they'll both get away.
That was... I mean, it's so hard to play those Roche fights when you're going in blind. Like, Sand King had to probably just pre-cast the Burrow Strike post-blink, and he didn't hit the PA with it. He only stunned the Silencer in the pit. He also didn't want to go for the Epi. I think if he goes for the Epicenter, it could go a bit better for him, but problem is that he's in plain sight. It's daytime, so if he goes for the Epicenter on that ramp, he gets seen doing it. Maybe he needs to... I think the play there is to like cast the Epicenter from the Ancients area and then blink in from the Ancients into the Roche pit.
Yeah. With
the Burrow Strike. If he goes for that kind of a play, potentially it works out, but problem was Pycat swaps in, finishes Roshan, but Slider's there to stun him and prevent him picking up an Aegis, and NaVi are going to go back to defending and playing from the back foot now that there's an Aegis on the Secret side. But it is an Aegis on the Silencer. I'm not sure if that's really the hero they wanted to have the Aegis on.
Yeah, I think NaVi right now, anyway, especially with Global Silence on cooldown, they want to be able to focus down that MP first. It doesn't really feel like Silencer's that big of a threat, though maybe he will become a big threat with this next item in the Scythe of Ice. That will be a significant damage upgrade.
MP, on the other hand, building in Assault Crest. I think this is a must-buy item given it's purely physical damage killing him in these fights, so the one item that's going to give him the extra bit of survivability as well as help out with the damage output.
This push in from the bottom lane, these kind of pushes from General can be done with a lot more confidence with this fresh BKB picked up by him. So he's going to try and keep Secret away from pushing into these high grounds and forcing these potential tier 3 Aegis scenarios that we talk about in the late game.
It's actually crazy how much the itemization from Secret is like it's out of the norm because they're just purely countering the NaVi physical damage. Like, you've got the Slider going for Vlad's with Armlet, 2 very heavy armor items. You've got the Earth Spirit going for the Crimson Guard into a casual chainmail. He's going to be going into a Solar Crest off of this. So everyone is just itemizing differently because of the NaVi lineup.
Pull back on RMN. Puppey misses the kick there, but Kezu will be in place for the crush. Get a pick off.
Split push is going to be very annoying, though, this game. And that's where it's like, well, you can itemize, you can have the team fight advantage, but you've got to be able to keep these lanes pressured out, which General is doing his best to make difficult.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I don't think that pick off on Sand King is going to mean much. Not with General split pushing like he is. But if they can get the kill onto Dendy, that'll be much bigger. Still have the refraction going. Managed to get the blink away. A BKB going to be used. Back over to bottom lane. General fighting it out with Kezu. Pops his BKB. Diffuses up Kezu. Stopping that sprint. Stopping his progression into the base. Managed to pick up that kill. Time lapse away. Back over to mid. Some pings going out. Looks like they're going to try and cut downwards and catch General with this BKB on cooldown. Failing that, maybe just get a Rubik. That was so well played
by NaVi in the bottom lane. Like, General's just sitting there. He knows heroes are going to come for him, but he's got Biva behind him on the Rubik. Rubik comes in, gets the 2-man stun with the telekinesis, and then steals the crush. Allows General to turn it around, get the kill, and get out. It does cost him a BKB charge, but it was like a good 500 extra damage onto the tower. They get a kill. They buy time to help this Aegis expire. Like, this is the kind of plays that will buy NaVi time to extend this game, get them into a position where Benj can get some more item. And Pycat not going for the BKB, interestingly, going for the Lotus Orb. Wants to just get some extra armor and be able to instantly purge off some silences in a secondary way. I think we're getting to that point where the Disruptor is the Static Storm isn't as big of a problem because Disruptor dies so early on in a lot of these fights. So probably just feels like he can go for a different approach in terms of his items.
I think in some ways Pycat is becoming less of a presence when it comes to his physical damage and much more secondary to Dendi. If he can't actually save Dendi, be able to Lotus Orb and himself and then swap Dendi out, I think that may be better use of his life. Then
this feels like one of those Acceptor games almost on Avenge. You know, like
that's
you throw away your life
to
save a teammate, and then you still have your Vengealier. So you put the Vengeance Aura on the enemy and still have the Aura for your team.
I mean, I was also kind of thinking in similar play. Oh, mid one. How did he get caught out like this? All these TPs up to the top lane have left mid one alone in middle. That'll be the Aegis down. Fortunately, Secret is not too far away, so it doesn't look like NaVi can actually go for this second kill, but it is going to be the Aegis lost.
It was expiring in 5 seconds, so it's kind of a non-issue, but it's still like you don't like to see that because it's something that shouldn't happen even when it is just like okay, that Aegis was about to expire anyways. It's a throwaway, but you don't. It's a bit of a worrying sign for Secret when NaVi are managing to outmaneuver Secret, but they will now target some of these shrines. It's taking their time to get to them, but definitely worth doing considering that there's going to be another Roche fight likely coming up. I don't see, unless Secret somehow get a great jump, win a big team fight, this game is definitely going to extend to that next Roche fight. And again, the split push at bottom lane is going to keep Secret busy and preoccupied. Not just bottom lane, but top lane as well is going to keep them constantly defending.
Yeah, I think Secret... I think this may still be one of their better opportunities to claim some objectives and force NaVi back, but maybe not. They're actually not going high ground immediately, and General's already getting damage onto that tier 2.
It's very tough to even try and force the TPs back by going for that high ground because of the Venge swap. You're so scared of that swap.
MP put up on the cliff. Somebody help. Somebody give me a blink Phantom Strike.
It's a free tier 2 tower. Now NaVi can take those shrines. Actually, no, there's a mid tier 2. Sorry about that. Can't quite take the shrines, but it's still farm. It's still... Like, I feel like NaVi is getting a bit more farm out of the map, farming top and bottom right now.
All right, man.
With that said...
Yule Scepters himself, Burrow Strike, blink to the side. As long as he remains out of vision, they can't glimpse him. Nice. Gets away just in time. General is going to become quite the threat here with all the split pushing before because we went the double defensive items. His damage hasn't been that threatening, but he is on the cusp of a fresh upgrade in damage.
Yep. Probably the MKB, I guess, against the PA. I mean, the Desos are always a nice pickup, but against the PA, the MKB is definitely more damage output. And yeah, Pycat's queued up the Acceptor after the Lotus Orb, so it looks like he's on the same page where he's not really he's the utility carry. He's got to keep Dendi alive, and I mean, they've got plenty of damage output across their 3 cores. The Sanking Epicenter is going to start to kick in as a late game damage dealer as well, so there's not pressure on Pycat to be a damage dealer.
Oh, RMN! Oh, God, just keep on doing this, buddy. Just keep on buying your team time with these sort of plays. If he can actually get out, it'll even be better, but he is going to be glimpsed up. Has a blink up in a second or Burrow Strike, but I don't think he's going to have a chance to use it. That is still 5 members of Secret in the bottom lane, and they're all going to have to TP or play somehow defensively. They may still catch him.
Pycat, though.
Kick. Is it in time? Oh, Pycat gets nailed just before the TP can complete. Pycat pops the Lotus Orb, turns and fights, hoping to be able to get at least one, but Puppey is not even close to death. He gets that one. General almost gets the tier 2 in mid off of that one, opening up the shrines, but not quite.
Yeah. It's actually so frustrating. It's like one of the new counters to split pushing is these shrine TPs. It's like, all right, they can't get behind me, and then you're threatening to push a tier 3 town, and then suddenly there's like 2 heroes behind you, and you're like, oh wait, that's right, they can TP to shrines nowadays. And Pycat's play there would have been totally fine and like the standard right play to make on any other pre 7.0 patch, but those shrines are his undoing as Puppey's able to get in there in time to cancel that TP out.
Yeah. Or even having BKB, he could, be able to BKB TP out and only
I still feel like, the
Abyssal.
BKB over the Lotus Orb would have made a bit more. The Lotus Orb is the more team-oriented item, and it will help against this Hex. Like, if someone like Dendi gets Hexed and initiated on it, it means he can help him out. But I think he can help him out by swapping him. That's the thing. If he has he could swap him out and then pop a BKB. So I don't necessarily feel like the Lotus Orb was a necessary item pickup this game.
Do you ever, because we talked about the Ags on Vengeful Spirit, and I think it was a good suggestion. Pycat seems to agree so. He's trying to pick that item up now. Do you think the Ags on Weaver is ever going to be a thing that we talk about for this game, or should he just build straight damage? Hold on, RMN goes on a Pylite die. Abyssal Blade goes out. MP is going to be able to collect this kill, looks like, with a glimpse back into a crush. RMN has no hope of escape, and Secret are slowly but surely getting NaVi out of position more and more and keeping the lanes relatively pushed in at the same time.
Yeah, this is a good chain of pickoffs. Secret, I think, starting to figure the game out a bit better now with their ability to find these split pushes. I think they were prioritizing too much, just pushing down one lane, and now they're like, okay, we've got to just send out 2 or 3 heroes, go and get these kills, and then go back to pushing. Even if it means we're not breaking high ground, just punish NaVi. Like, you can't let NaVi just walk all over multiple lanes, get a free tier 2 tower top, have you chase them around like with this Sand King, Yules blinking around. Like, you've got to make sure you get these kills, even if you're not getting Raxes. Set yourself up to perhaps go for a Rax with the next Aegis Cheese. But back on the topic of the Ags for Weaver, I think there's too much pressure for General to actually do damage this game. I think he's going to be too slot limited to... If for NaVi to win, like in my mind, for NaVi to win, it's going to take a 6-slotted Weaver and a 6-slotted TA.
Yeah. So you just want this General to go full damage then?
Yeah, the Ags could be nice. Maybe it saves Stendy one fight, but they've got to maximize their damage output in that small window where they like pop their BKBs in a fight. And I think going like an MKB into Bloodthorn or something is going to be a better way to approach this game.
Yeah, I completely agree. The way I see it is that in the beginning of this game, either Weaver or Vengeful Spirit could turn into that support utility role with the Ags, or in this case, the swap. But once you've made that commitment, one of them has to be full damage. And in this case, General's got to take over the damage output that Dendi will eventually drop off, right? Templar Assassin is not the be-all, end-all of it late game carries. It's a nice damage dealer, but it is still susceptible to initiation.
Does have that nice +3 refraction instances now, which is
that's true.
One of the better level 25 talents for carries that there are in the game. So see what he can, or won't necessarily obviously see the impact of that, but it does make it a bit harder for the PA. Most of those Blink's Phantom Strike attacks will get blocked by the refraction at the start of a fight, so can be very pesky.
Oh no, he didn't get the blink off in time. Okay, did you see that? Yeah. He blinked at the same time as Glimpse, so he actually
play.
Yeah.
That is like some amazing timing. I'm sure there's like a tiny bit of luck involved with that as well. Like, you're only going to get that 1 in 100 times, but that was the 1 in 100.
I was just like, what the hell? All right. So
NaVi, they're going to wrap around. This could completely catch Secret by surprise.
Oh, it looks like it just might. MP.
But Secret have the high ground advantage.
Yeah. As long as they keep heroes in this area, they're good. But as soon as they start going downhill, it could get bad, NaVi.
Courier walks past. They know they can go uphill now.
Oh, God. They have so much good information. Such a good opportunity to find this initiation. Get the quick kill. But Pylite spots him out. The Kezu. He gets the 3-man crush. The Static Storm follow up. Puppy gets some combo stuns. Pycat is going to get dropped. And so is Dendi. They have no response. RMN comes in with the epicenter, but it's not going to do enough. All the magic damage is gone. And General, he's trying to get away now, but he may still be caught as well. MP locks him down, gets the bash dagger, and they finish him off. Baber will be the last one alive. 5 down from NaVi. Secret went from taking Roshan to potentially being countered by it. And all of a sudden, they can ignore Roshan if they want to and just go high ground.
I mean, that initially looked so good, but Kezu with the split-second reaction instantly blink crushes, catches out 3. That was some impressive play and reactions coming out from his Slardar. And I think it was the courier kill that kind of revealed their position there as well. Like, they kind of showed their hand by killing that courier, and then they didn't, like, they need I think it's NaVi who have to make that split-second jump. The second they see, like, they're on the high ground, they see heroes, they just need to blink crush and delete a hero right away with the TA. Pop the BKB and just stand your ground and fight, but Secret, the team willing to take the initiative, get rewarded for it, and this is going to be multiple lanes of racks. Weaver, no buyback means this could just be straight-up mega creeps.
It really could. 30 seconds left. Templar Assassin. Dendi may be forced into a buyback on such a low death timer. That is going to be the worst feeling ever, but It's going to be worse than just watching you get megas like this. Melee Rax is going to be dropping low now. 14 seconds till the Weaver's up. Dendy immediately gets stunned up, but the Lotus Orb does a lot of work. It already Scythe the Vice up mid one and got the stun onto the MP, but he still managed to complete up Dendy. Keep on going. Glimpse back. Pycat going to be the next core that gets dropped, and right as Weaver comes alive, he finds his team. He's already called the GG. NaVi will lose game 2 to Secret, and we will see another game 3.
A couple of really good mid-game fights from Secret. I mean, they had to recover this game, I feel. Like, NaVi had a good... they had a good start. Like, yeah, Dendy died a couple of times to ganks, but it was mid one who really died at the crucial times. NaVi secured themselves that first Aegis, but I think NaVi just kind of rushed things a bit. Like, they were fighting before Pycat had the defensive Manta or BKB, and a couple good fights in a row around that Global Silence really set Secret up to take full control of the map. And in the late game, it was, I mean, Kezu to me, like the big MVP of this game. He was just so good and decisive on so many of those initiations, hitting multiple hero crushes, and that was to me the difference maker. Like, Secret were jumping with like a split second of thought. They were jumping in, starting a fight. For NaVi, it just felt like RMM wasn't doing the same thing that Kezu was.
Team Bears awaits their opponent after 2-0ing ad Finum yesterday. Will it be Team Secret or will it be NaVi? We'll find out as Game 3 is about to start.